Hey, so I thought that I would do a video on me and my review with the Dinosauria series that David Armsby has created. If you don't know, there's a guy called David Armsby who created a YouTube channel known as Dead Sound. And his latest animations are these episodes to a series known as Dinosauria, which is an animated anthology series about, well, dinosaurs. Now, I'm gonna start with my review of the first episode, Old Buck. It was quite amazing. Never seen anything really like it. I mean, the color palette, it was very striking. It didn't look realistic, but I don't think it had to. And the animation on the dinosaurs was particularly very good. For a guy who works on these animations mostly by himself, he is really, really, really good at it. And the I was quite amazed when I saw these dinosaurs and how he portrayed them. Most people, at least to me, when they think of dinosaurs, like, to me, most people, when they think of dinosaurs, they think of these creatures like mythical monsters that are far beyond our reach of comprehension. We know they lived, but they might as well have the same sort of role as dragons or griffins or hydras or whatever. They always seem so distant yet so natural. And dinosaurs, they are always portrayed like how they wouldn't act. The only time when you would get a dinosaur to act like how they were in real life, an animal, just bigger, you know, it's the only time you get that is with documentaries. The only time you get an animation of a dinosaur acting like how it most likely would have acted is with a high budget documentary series. Otherwise, you might as well have movie monsters. But with the Dinosauria series, I have hope that there will be more animations of dinosaurs where they aren't portrayed like a monster that fight for our own entertainment. But anyways, the short film Old Buck centers around Styracosaurus, a very old one, covered in scars, with vines and branches hanging from its horns. Has a chipped nose horn and is generally very old. It's a time of year where the males rut around and fight each other for the chance to mate with females. A lot like deer or other animals that fight for dominance in that way. The old buck comes down from his hill that he was sitting on, and he picks a fight with this younger male who has defeated another Styracosaurus previously. At first, the male has the advantage, being faster and stronger than the old buck. And soon, some Albertosaurus watch from on top of a distant hill, seeing the Styracosaurus fight. When it seems like the old buck has lost, suddenly the old buck has managed to use some experience when toppling over opponents. He gets his horn under the younger male and then pushes him over on his back. But the old buck doesn't stop there. The old buck then charges at the younger male and impales the other male with his horn, gores him in the gut. And the way this is shown is incredibly graphic, and I love it. And I really like how it seems that it kind of showed how the old buck went a little bit too far. Because even the younger male didn't gore his opponents after they've been knocked down. Even the Albertosaurus watching from the distance, even they were surprised. And then when all the herd sides with the old buck, then the Albertosaurus descend from the cliff and it cuts to black. Then it shows a little while later the old buck on his hill again under a tree, sitting there tending to his wounds, new scars to add to his body. New scars that show his age, and he's not going to be there forever. But we know that while he was on that earth, he certainly lived an eventful life. So that was Old Buck. Now, considering the series hasn't finished yet, I'm a little hesitant, to do this video now because I haven't finished the series yet, because the series itself hasn't been finished yet. But then now I'm going to review Our Frozen Past, which is the second episode of the Dinosauria series. And then after I review that, I'm going to release a part 2 where I will review A More Ancient Spring, and then after that, episode 4. I don't know the title of episode 4 yet, so anyways, Our Frozen Past. Our Frozen Past was also really excellent. I think it might have been better in terms of, I'd say, action, but I think it certainly has a bit more creative liberty to it than the first episode. In Our Frozen Past, it in Our Frozen Past, it revolves around a Troadon. Now, already it has some creative liberties to it because Troodons, are now kind of a genus that is dubious because it was sort of a dumping ground for whatever fossils they could. Paleontologists couldn't find a specific genus to belong to. So the Troodon genus is dubious now. I just stepped on a water bottle. Okay. And so follows a Troadon mother. She goes out into this snowy field, this open land with snow covering it, which is very unlikely for the time. Even in the coldest parts, it would have rarely snowed. And when it did, it would have probably been like an inch or something. But anyways, she passes by a herd of Pachyrhinosaurus, which are woolly. The Pachyrhinosaurus have a coat of pycnofibers that resemble hair, which I find looks cool, but still, that's a very big creative liberty. Anyways, she passes by a tree that drops icicles. She mimics the sound of the icicles breaking off from the tree branch and falling into the snow. Like, kind of like that. And then she goes out to a ledge to look over everywhere, presumably to find prey to hunt, kind of like how cheetahs find vantage points on top of rocks in order to find prey easier. Then she sees a Dinosauria on another part of the cliff. Now, Dinosauria is sort of a relative of Tyrannosaurus, but it's way smaller. It's like I think around 9 or 10 feet tall, whereas Tyrannosaurus was like 14, 15 feet tall, I think. Nearly 20 feet tall. And she sees the Dinosauria, which looked to be calling for a mate who is making a sound reminiscent of a call for a mate or something. So the Troadon mother sees the Dinosauria, then flees. She runs over back to her den where her babies are, and she waits. She's curled up, she's fanning her feathers like an intimidation display, and just waiting. Then the Dinosauria comes over, presumably because it smelled her or saw her, and decide to hunt her. The Nanooksaurus comes into her den, and then she scratches it, which causes the Nanooksaurus to back out of the den. Then it comes back in the den and snatches one of her babies and eats it. She runs out. The Troadon mother runs out of her den, and then a second Nanooksaurus comes, and they sort of fight a bit. The Troodon hisses, the Nanooksaurus sort of takes a bite but misses. Then the Troodon mother runs on top of her den and starts calling, starts crying out into the sky. And when I first heard this, I was like, man, that's such a blood-curdling screech. Like she's in agony or something. But then the Pachyrhinosaurus heard from earlier comes over, and then I realized she was mimicking the sound of a baby Pachyrhinosaurus to lure the herd over to the Nukesaurus, so that they could drive away the Tyrannosaurs, and her remaining baby would be safe. Now that was pretty amazing in terms of like I was very thrilled to see that, even though it was probably not accurate, and that most dinosaurs probably wouldn't even be smart enough to do that. Still, like, I was amazed, and I liked it a lot. Then the ending scene is the mother Troadon traveling with her remaining baby away to somewhere else. And in terms of rating for the first episode, Old Buck, I give it like solid like 8 out of 10. And with Our Frozen Past, I'd say like maybe a 9 out of 10. Now, when episode 4 comes out, I'll make a part 2 of this that will review episode 3 called A More Ancient Spring. And then I'll review episode 4 after that. But maybe I should have picked a rating that was higher than 10. Like a 15 or something. I don't know. All I know is that those 3 shorts are really, really good. And I highly recommend you check out Dead Sound to watch them all. He is uploading way faster than before. Before it would take quite a while to get those animations done, but now he's making a lot of them. And he has also made a making of episode for each episode he's done. So if you want to see like a behind the scenes and how we got the idea for the episode, and how he made it and what dinosaurs he put in and everything. You know, go check out his channel. Anyways, that's all I have. Bye.